Welcome to Team Brief this month. I just have to start, first of all, by yes, thank you. I can't remember a day quite like yesterday for a long time, in that we had 3 sort of concurrent silver commands on blood shortages, on e-meds and on emergency pressures. And I'm sure the fact that we're a little bit thin on the ground today is illustrative of the fact a lot of our colleagues will be out there just keeping the show on the road. But I have to say, please pass on my thanks to everyone for the magnificent efforts of dealing with each of those things, which required a huge amount of additional effort, extended hours, the kind of organisation, coordination amidst a huge amount of pressure to keep patients safe, but fantastic, you know, really good. And then if that wasn't enough, you know, headlines from an incident we had 3 years ago and so on, and, you know, all of that to just keep us entertained as well. So lots happening, but what always strikes me in these moments is just the quality of teamwork and the mutual support that we give one another, and the Leeds way just meaning something real in terms of how everyone does come together and make a big difference to keep patients safe and to get through times of crisis. So just to recognise that and thank you all. Please pass that on to your colleagues, because I know probably for most of you yesterday was a bit of a write-off in terms of normal stuff because we were dealing with all these things that happened all at once, but yeah, very much appreciated. Anything to add, Suzanne, to that?
Just a couple of things. The Amber Alert is obviously still with us at this moment in time. So the processes what we put in place yesterday remain. Sorry.
So the processes we put in place remain for that, and as soon as we get any notification of kind of normal working, we'll let you know. We anticipated that originally it might be end of Thursday, Friday. We hear it might be a little bit earlier from what I got earlier today. So we'll let you know if there's any change to that. Obviously, some of your specialties are particularly affected, those around transplantation, cardiac in particular. But please make sure that our blood transfusion colleagues and our experts in this are able to advise you, who have done a great job, you know, with their networks as well, keeping shows on the road where they need to for the benefit of the patients that need to actually get into surgery. We haven't had any other cause for concern at the moment to retrench back into stopping the use and going back to paper records on the e-med side. We know it is an opportunity for us to look at our business continuity plans, and certainly from yesterday, there's a few areas of learning for us, not least about where stacks of cardboard handwritten prescription charts are. But in good nursing style, you can never forgive those nurses that think, I'll hide this for a rainy day. And believe you me, we found a few of those hidden, so people were able to dig out of their cupboards some of these prescription cards. And winter, we're not out of that, as you'll well hear, feel and see. But a big thank you to the staff, and particularly for those who have done much more extended working. It's difficult to say how we can repay them in a way, because they're giving extra time of their own free will. But very grateful for that, and the working relationships across our hospitals and in the community over the last 48 hours has been exceptionally good. So thank you for that.
Great, thanks very much, Suzanne. And just on the sort of urgent precious theme, just to say, many of you involved in the MAID event, the multi-agency discharge event, discussion yesterday with my sort of exec colleagues about the output from that, which Steve, who you'll remember, I thought excellent facilitator, came to talk us through that commitment to the outputs from that, and you'll be hearing more about the kind of work that we do as a system across Leeds to take forward what is identified as one of the most pressing areas, which is, of course, as we've known for a long time, the number of patients in our wards that really would be better off in other settings. So more work to do on that. Okay, so having said that about some of the major challenges we've had to deal with, it's great to be able to talk this month about two really important things and really positive things. So the first is quality improvement and quality achievements, because there's a huge amount of great work that is going on, and there's some really impressive results coming through on this. So, of course, all of this is done under the umbrella of the Leeds Improvement Method, but there is work that we've been doing for some years on quality improvement that predate that, but are really starting to make a difference. So let's just have a look at some of them. Cardiac arrests. Across Leeds teaching hospitals, 31% fewer of those cardiac arrests, which is magnificent in terms of where we were. That's equates to 108 patients, 7% less than 2016. So, huge achievement. Incidence of cardiac arrests, we're 25% lower than the national average. Parkinson's meds, percentage of omitted Parkinson's medications from 15% to 3.7%. Pressure ulcers, this is breaking news. Pressure ulcers. You've just walked in, Liz. Gee, just missed the moment on Parkinson's medications, but just read that again. Average percentage of omitted Parkinson's medications on wards dropped from 15% to 3.7%. Pressure ulcers. Breaking news, we've had a statistically significant reduction in pressure ulcers across the trust, which is great given all of the work that's gone into that. And as we know, pressure ulcers is a really important marker of safety and quality, and one that we've been working on for some time. Safety huddles, 91% of wards are huddling, with 46% of wards achieving a statistically significant step reduction in harm, and shortlisted for an HSJ award on the back of that. And on MRSA, Oncology CSU celebrated 3 years without an MRSA bacteremia, which is fabulous. So I think that's great, don't you? Just in terms of when you put that together and see the impact. And many of you have been involved in this work. So really, really good, really well done. And I guess just to reflect on the difference that this makes to our patients, you know, our mission to be patient-centred. This is it, isn't it? This is showing, this is really, really happening. And what gives me even more of a sense of belief and pride and confidence is that we're doing this in the context of some of the most pressured environments we've ever worked in. Thinking about our emergency pressures particularly, and how busy our wards and departments are. So I think a big congratulations to all involved, and please pass this news on, because I think it's noteworthy in terms of the change that has been made. Winter ward-based achievements. So on that theme of winter urgent care pressures, look at those days without pressure ulcers and some of our star wards and areas across the trust. Heading the table, J43, over 440 days. How good is that? Yeah, magnificent, magnificent. And then, as you can see, J21, L7, L6, L3, 5 AMS wards over 100 days. So, really good, really good. And we should recognise that in terms of the way in which, in extremis, we're still able to deliver safe, effective care in relation to some of the key markers. 222 calls, J08 and L24 achieved over 120 days without a call. And falls, despite all that pressure, high numbers of medical outliers, J98 achieved over 50 days without a fall, which is a big achievement because of the challenging case mix on that ward. So, you know, terrific. Really, really good. And then just to say, in terms of the next slide, I think this is a key message, showing that not only can we maintain standards, but we can improve standards. So to be able to make these strides in the most testing of environments just demonstrates the fabulous work that our teams are doing. Combining our QI collaborative approach to reducing harm, along with our Virginia Mason Institute, the Leeds Improvement Method, of course, we're achieving major success in QI. And in the next month, we're scaling up our deteriorating patient work, and our Parkinson's bundles will roll out across the trust in the coming year. And of course, a number of these have reported out at the Friday report outs to show progress and to show what we're doing. So I was going to ask Suzanne, Yvette, to comment before I ask you guys to reflect, because both Suzanne and Yvette, of course, have been pivotal in the leadership and development of this, together with all of the teams that are participating in it. And it is great to see. So anything you'd like to add?
I think the data speaks for itself. We know that actually, well, now you're going to ask the audience for feedback. There's quite a few other things that people will mention. So, no, we're just really proud as well.
Yeah, fantastic. So, opportunity for you just to have a chat amongst yourselves. What are the quality achievements you're most proud of in your CSU or your department or your area? And that can be, you know, that can be as small or large as you like. But I know all of you will have been involved in some great work over the course of the year. So just a quick opportunity to reflect on the good things that you've been involved in. So a couple of minutes on that. Okay, folks, shall we share a bit then? Let's share a bit of the achievements and any examples to add to the ones that you've already seen. So who'd like to kick off? Can always rely on you to put your hand up, Joe. Fantastic.
It was a national conference yesterday, and Sir David Behan was speaking to a national audience, and he was asked for some kind of example of a positive cultural safety change, and he cited Leeds Teaching Hospitals as a national example. So that caused a bit of a buzz around the room, and it was the safety huddles in particular. He articulated exactly about it, what he'd seen and how impressed he was with it. And then I would have to, at this moment, include the Freedom to Speak Up agenda, which we've moved on and is evidenced in the staff survey that we incrementally are improving that. It is an awful long journey, but it started and it is now going in the right direction. People's ability to raise concerns, which converts into a positive patient experience at the end.
Yeah, correct. Couldn't agree more. That's great. Great to hear that feedback as well, Joe. Thank you. Jonathan.
Yeah, from women's perspective, I think we had a girth meeting last August and were subject of a report from the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynaecologists for national maternal and perinatal mortality, morbidity, and we were outliers for certain things. All that stuff, we've done a lot of work in, the teams have done a lot of work, and now we're seeing the benefits of that work and coming down. So most notably in sort of perineal trauma, 3rd and 4th degree tears, we're doing work which is bringing that down, which is obviously benefit to the women that were in this outline group. The other thing which is absolutely about quality for us is we've instituted elective caesarean section lists, which we didn't have. Now we're getting through 6 sections on those lists by about 4 o'clock, rather than starting the second section at maybe 5 o'clock when we didn't have those lists. And so now it's rolling that out and really seeing positive benefits from that, both amongst the staff and obviously the women we serve.
Excellent. That's really good. That's really good. In fact, I can remember, I think, back when you started in the role, you talking about that caesarean list opportunity, Jonathan. It's great to see we've got that in place now. Good stuff.
Also, women's, you've been nominated for some midwifery awards.
Yeah, have been nominated for quite a few, teams and whatever, really doing it positive. And they were particularly pleased, I think, that they got at least their picture on Start the Wing, because a lot of our staff did come in, sleep overnight, make sure it was all open in the winter. Yeah. And they'll have been dealing with e-meds and stuff yesterday as well. And again, what you said is right, they do it collaboratively, and they seem to do it without any sort of disgruntlement whatsoever.
And it's a good reminder about you know, given it was such a tumultuous day yesterday, we've kind of forgotten already about all the snow. But that was the efforts that people went to in this trust to get in, to look after patients and to keep the place going, and the work that Estates and Facilities did, for example, to clear all of the paths and car parks to enable our staff to get here and to keep safe has been phenomenal. So I know we had some nice shots from around the trust in start of the week of everything that's going on, but it's a good point, Jonathan, about the commitment that people have showed to get in, and a number of people sleeping over in the place as well, just to make sure they were able to get on shift. So who would like to offer? Okay, there's two of you.
For me, in AMS, I think the proudest thing for me is how everybody's embraced LIM, Leeds Improvement Method. It's been amazing this past year. So from band 2s to band 8s, everybody knows about it, everybody understands it. And because that's putting the patient first, we see massive improvements incrementally all the time, because the team are understanding that if we do LIM the way that we're supposed to, the patient is always at the heart of everything that we do.
And that you remember the walk that you took me on, where we saw absolutely the commitment and engagement of our teams that you've got through Lean for Leaders. Everyone engaging was fantastic. So I think in the context of this, Leeds Improvement Method is starting to percolate and get to a point where frontline teams get it, you know, waste, efficiency, where value is, and, you know, all of that homework is paying off. We've just started, so it's, yes, yeah.
Again, in AMS, just to add on to the back of what Jill said, one of the things they've done in renal dialysis is a really patient-centred and patient-focused initiative within shared care. So it's given the patient the ownership of what they want, and they're working with our staff to deliver that. And, you know, it's, again, to use the term collaborative, we're working with the patients as well as with each other to deliver better patient care.
That point about working with patients, I think, is a theme that we can do more with, actually. I think, you know, think about our year of improvement and everything we've done. Think about where we might want to move into in terms of how we engage patients fundamentally in the improvement work that we're doing. I think there's a huge opportunity for us to do that, because the ones that have been involved, they've loved it, and they've added so much to the quality of the improvements that we've been able to make. And it's not something the NHS has done arguably enough of. So I think there's some big opportunities there. So thank you. And up at the back.
So the children's ongoing reduction in infection rates, MSSA, Clostridium difficile year on year. And there's a crowd of people going down to London who've been nominated for an award, the Bardet Trust Award for Quality in Transitional Care. And I think we're probably UK leaders in this now, and that's a really important thing for transition of children from paediatric practice into adult practice. Key thing that we're doing really well in.
That's a really good point, Mike, because I think that's one of the things that I've certainly seen some of the examples of that, and you've set the stall out really around that as a key area, given the fact that we've got the advantage sort of physically of the Leeds Children's Hospital co-located with the LGI. It gives us opportunities to do it, and I know making some of the moves we've made of co-location of adult and children's and so on. So, and with everything we've gone through with congenital heart disease and so on, all of that whole agenda of transitional care is one that I'm sure will go from strength to strength. So that's really good.
In theatres, it's funny when you actually take 5 minutes to think about all the things you've done. You can't stop writing down all the things you've done or people have done in the team. So we've got loads of successful work. So the cardiac improvement programme, Think Drink, improved our Melvis training from staff, so, you know, significantly improved all of those areas. Worked with the CSUs on things like hot gallbladders, the elective section lists as well. Doing 10 case day case challenges with AMS, trying to improve our productivity and efficiency, benefiting the patients through there. So 10 day case lists, and these are challenge. Yeah, and these are within all the specialties in AMS that we've gone all the way through to say we can do it. And the first couple were a bit tough, but after that, all the learning we take out of that improves the work we're doing with JAL and AMS and David Beavers, and particularly AMS, because it's a big customer there. You know, real improvements for our patients. And you know, we've got an award-winning nursing care plan as well that has come in. Our education team works tirelessly across our entire CSU. So loads of stuff.
And I mean, my most recent experience of that was David Beavers going and seeing the work that the guys there are doing in terms of helping support the overall flow of patients through the trust and going above and beyond. So recognise many of those. That's great. Okay, Liz, did you have your hand up?
Just to say something I think our whole trust can be proud of, and that's about medicine errors. And when we look at the incidence of our medicine errors compared to peers in other organisations, the incidence of our medicine errors that cause harm is vastly less than elsewhere. So it's about 3 times less than our peers. So that's something that everybody contributes to in every CSU. So I think that's really fabulous.
Excellent. And it's a very hot topic right now, isn't it? With Secretary of State having a particular interest in this. So if we're doing some good things here, we should be, I'm sure, making sure people know about that.
And then just another point, e-meds is a bit of a hot topic at the moment. But just to reflect on all those areas where we have implemented e-meds, we've since the implementation not had an intentional, sorry, I should say unintentional administration of a medicine to an allergic patient. So we've had a couple where people have intended to administer because the patient probably wasn't allergic to the drug, but we haven't had any of the old errors that used to occur. And I just think that's fantastic progress for the whole trust. Brilliant.
Just before you came in, Liz, I was giving a sort of, a tribute to the astonishing work that went on yesterday on day where if it could go wrong, it did, But just in terms of hearing when Suzanne and Yvette were taking me through the kind of all of the different responses, but on eMeds, over 2,000 sets of charts printed off in less than 2 hours, and which at such a busy time, incredible achievement, and that in terms of safety and quality, and making sure that we had a sort of plan B, in the event of that. So I think it's an important point to make. As we become ever more reliant on electronic technology. Great. Okay, thank you very much for feeding all that back. I know there's loads more, but it is good, isn't it, just to take stock periodically of where we are getting to on our quality improvement. And the point, I think, that you made, Jill, about the Leeds improvement method and the work that that's doing to really reinforce a lot of this, that much of which we'd already started, is really starting to have a great impact. So please pass this news on. It is important. Please make sure colleagues are aware of this. Okay, so next item. This is great, this is great. So, staff survey, national staff survey. This doesn't really need a lot of explanation from me because you can see very visibly our progress on this histogram. Back in 2012, those of you that were here in 2012, many of you, I'm sure, 18 areas in the bottom 20% of acute trusts. And you track through each of the years since, and you see the red bars diminishing to only 1 this year. And in 2012, we didn't have any scores in the top 20% of acute trusts. And you track the green, the dark green particularly, to look at the sum of the number of best scores in the top 20% of acute trusts, and look where we are now. So I think, just an incredible achievement by everyone in terms of the engagement of colleagues, the Leeds way, the Leeds improvement method. Everything you've just been describing can only happen with our teams being engaged and feeling part of the mission and purpose of what we all come to work to do. So I think that's a great sort of demonstration that we can evidence this and we can compare ourselves to other trusts and see that we are now easily outperforming the majority of acute trusts in relation to our staff engagement, and again, at a time when the challenges have never been greater. So, terrific. And just a little bit more detail. Our engagement score, this is a composite of a number of questions, and you can see that our progress on this has gone from 3.44 to 3.85, with the national average at 3.79. So this now puts us well above the national average and at the same level as some of the trusts that have traditionally done very well in the staff survey. So, you know, we're hard on Northumbria's heels. We left Salford in our wake some time ago. So this is, you know, this is good. We're much better than Sheffield. So and Manchester's not even in it. So this is good. This is good. And you can see the key findings where we are nationally ranked on our performance. So stunning on appraisal, you know, and one of the things we worked hard on, and certainly the HR team and OD colleagues working with CSUs on the importance of appraisal, both in terms of people being appraised, but also it being meaningful. Great progress on that, to the point where in an organisation of our size, 17,000 staff, to be fourth best nationally is no mean feat, given some of these trusts are really quite, you know, some of them will be quite small, but, you know, that's terrific. And then, of course, the importance of good communication between senior management and staff. I mean, you know, we are collectively senior management, and the importance of the communication with our teams, hugely important. And the fact that that's been coming back to us as a strong message. Fairness and effectiveness of procedures for reporting errors, near misses and incidents. A lot of work's been done on this, a lot of work. And I can remember a team brief that Bruce Keogh came to, and I remember Hamish talking openly about some of the near misses and SUIs in theatres, and it was really powerful. And the fact that he was able to talk about an ever event openly with Bruce was terrific, and it just shows the kind of way in which that you know, you deal with this in a mature and open way, and you get much more engagement with reporting and learning. Confidence and security in reporting unsafe clinical practice, similar story. And the percentage of staff experiencing physical violence from patients, relatives or the public. And this is interesting because, as we've seen from the staff survey nationally, this is on the increase. Experience of bullying and violence in hospitals, sadly, is on the increase. But the great work that everyone's doing and the support that we get from our fantastic security team means that we're actually doing really well on this in terms of trying to and reducing the number of staff experiencing violence from patients, relatives or the public. So that, I think, that's a nice photo montage to just kind of remind us of what this is all about. And I guess the point about this is the way all of your local action plans that you've put together at a CSU level, because your feedback will be slightly different from your neighbouring CSUs, but it's working and it's been reflected in our progress. And if you look at the HSJ, I wasn't looking at it yesterday, but if you look at it today, you'll see in there, we're in the top 5 in the north for staff who would recommend this as a place to be treated. So, and we've never been in that position before, alongside the names that feature there frequently. So just a huge thank you, and please pass this on, because I think this is a terrific achievement in terms of where we've got to. Because we're a smaller group today, I'm just going to pause and ask if any of you have any further reflections or contributions on the staff survey in terms of things in your own areas, or any points from any of the corporate colleagues, or anything else that you might want to add to what I've already said. So just, because Anna, I know you've done a lot of work on this, so anything just to...
I really think that these results are about the work that all the CSUs are doing at the moment. I know a lot of teams have set up their own staff engagement groups, they've got health and wellbeing groups. If there's any more support that we can offer to help you push this to the next level, we've set ourselves a really hard target for next year now. So if there's anything that we can do to support you with your local action plans, please, please, please get in touch. And I just want to highlight as well that our corporate focus this year from staff survey is going to be around the Leeds Way patient-centred. So we're going to do some talking about that at team brief next year, but we're going to put a big focus over the next year on this great story about the great work that we've been doing for our patients, and really celebrating and recognising the hard work of all our staff. So that's where our corporate attention is, but if you need help at a local level, please get in touch.
Thanks very much, Anna, and you've reminded me of the key point of this slide, which is that having before focused on, for example, how everyone contributes to improvement, this overall theme of being patient-centred is something that we want to really zero in on over the course of the year. So there were a couple of hands went up there. Go on, Karen. Sorry, Fran.
Just a reminder, so we're just about to go into the appraisal season. I'd love us to be number one next year. It's a fantastic achievement. It's about having a quality conversation between managers and their staff. I do think it's been pivotal in getting us to where we wanted to be as an organisation. Just get them in your diary. My team are there to support in any way that they can. If you need any training, if you need help with the interface, more than happy to do that. But what we can't do is get them in the diary for you. And get as many done in April, because the people that you put in June are the ones that win the lottery and go on holiday.
Absolutely. No, it's a key point. Appraisal season, let's do even better. No, I couldn't agree more. Okay. So, staff survey. Let's make sure colleagues are aware of our progress. Just two more items before we close. It is the last day of nominations for the Time to Shine Awards. So nominations close at midnight today. We've had over 350 so far. The public patient nominated Hospital Hero Awards open next week. Keep an eye out in the local press and online for information. So really important, if you've got any last minute ideas, or you think, oh, should have nominated someone, then there's still time, but you have to be quick. And then the Talent for Care Support Staff Conference is here. We're looking for this conference, and awards are for clinical and non-clinical staff working in bands 1 to 4 roles. To nominate for an award or for more information, please visit the Organisational Learning intranet page. The conference is being held on the 18th of May. So date for your diaries, 18th of May, Talent for Care Support Staff Conference. And we have on the right the Junior Doctor Awards. We think we might just be the first trust in the country to launch dedicated awards for our juniors. And it's a great opportunity to formally recognise and celebrate the contribution that our junior doctors, our doctors in training, make to the trust. And visit our website to make a nomination in one of 8 categories. Nominations close on the 20th of April, so please spread the word amongst colleagues. We want some great nominations. We know we've got fabulous doctors in training throughout the Trust making a huge contribution to the work we do. Many of them are involved in the quality improvement efforts and the Leeds improvement method. So I'm looking forward to seeing many nominations come through for those, and we're supporting these very strongly. And then, on the left, well established now, very, very important, Caring the Leeds Way, our Nursing, Midwifery and Allied Health Professionals Conference. Nominations are now open for the awards on the 6th of June. 6th of June for Caring the Leeds Way for the Nursing, Midwifery and Allied Health Professionals Conference. And I'm sure you all know someone who makes a difference, goes the extra mile, absolutely does care the Leeds way. We want nominations, and applications for the awards close on the 16th of March, and there's information on the intranet. So please make sure we do justice to the great work that goes on across the Trust in nursing, midwifery and allied health professionals, and the fantastic support they offer our patients. So that's it for this month. So I think quite a contrasting set of issues to talk about this month, from the enormous challenges everyone's risen to yesterday, and indeed as the week goes on, the challenges don't diminish. But equally, look at the progress we're making in terms of quality, staff survey, and just recognition and how it feels to work here in Leeds Teaching Hospital. So please pass that on. Thank you very much. See you next month.